Hello, wonderful English learners, and a very warm welcome back to Podcast English. It's fantastic to have you here today, ready to dive into another captivating story that will help you truly master English. At Podcast English, we are passionate about making your language learning journey both effective and incredibly enjoyable. We carefully design compelling narratives to significantly boost your listening comprehension, broaden your vocabulary, and help you grasp complex English grammar in a natural, engaging context. Today, we're continuing our adventure at level B1. This means you'll encounter a richer array of nuanced vocabulary, more intricate sentence structures, and a slightly quicker, yet always perfectly clear and supportive, storytelling pace compared to our A2 narratives. Our aim is to offer a gentle but stimulating challenge, empowering you to build confidence and fluency with every listen. And, as always, our stories are more than just language lessons. They deliver profound messages and timeless life lessons that deeply resonate with real human experiences and emotions. Today's intriguing story is about solitude, about the weight of responsibility, and about the unexpected ways in which connections can light up our lives. It's called The Lighthouse Keeper's Secret. So open your ears and your mind, listen closely, and let's unveil this mystery together. High on a rugged cliff, overlooking the wild, restless sea, stood an old lighthouse. It was tall and proud, a solitary white tower against the vast blue sky. For more than 100 years, its powerful light had cut through the darkest nights, guiding ships safely away from dangerous rocks and hidden shoals. The lighthouse was a beacon of hope for sailors, a symbol of safety on a treacherous coast. Its thick, ancient walls had withstood countless storms, salty winds, and the relentless pounding of the waves. It stood alone, a silent guardian watching over the endless horizon. The sound of the ocean was its constant companion, a deep, rhythmic roar that never truly ceased. Inside the lighthouse, living a life of quiet routine, was its keeper, a man named Elias. Elias was a man of few words, with a face weathered by sun and sea wind. He had kind, thoughtful eyes that seemed to hold the vastness of the ocean within them. His hair was gray, like the misty mornings he often witnessed, and his hands were strong and rough from years of maintaining the old lamp. Elias had lived in the lighthouse for most of his life, following in the footsteps of his father and grandfather. It was his family's legacy, a tradition passed down through generations. He knew every bolt, every gear, and every flicker of the immense light. Elias's life was one of routine and solitude. Every morning before the sun rose, he would clean the enormous glass lens until it sparkled like a giant diamond. Then he would prepare the lamp for the night ahead, checking its mechanisms and ensuring everything was perfect. During the day, he would mend fishing nets, carve small wooden figures of birds and ships, or read old books that lined the lighthouse walls. He ate simple meals alone, listening to the cries of the gulls and the eternal song of the sea. His world was the lighthouse, the ocean, and the vast, empty sky. He rarely saw other people. The nearest town was a small fishing village, miles away, and he visited it only once a month for supplies. He had chosen this life, believing it was his duty, his quiet contribution to the world. Yet, despite his acceptance of solitude, Elias carried a secret. It was a secret born of his deep desire for connection, a longing he rarely acknowledged, even to himself. Every night, after the sun had dipped below the horizon and the first stars appeared, he would climb the winding stairs to the top of the lighthouse. He would light the enormous lamp, its bright beam sweeping across the dark waters, a powerful pulse of light
in the vast darkness. This was his most important duty, the reason for his solitary existence. But after performing his duty, he would do something else, something only he knew about. He would turn off the main light for just a few seconds, a quick, deliberate flicker, and then turn it back on. This was not a malfunction. It was a secret signal, a tiny, almost imperceptible interruption in the constant rhythm of the light, a silent message sent out into the vast, lonely night. He had been doing this for years, ever since he first took over the lighthouse from his father. It was a habit born from a quiet, almost unconscious hope. He never expected a reply. He simply sent his signal, a small gesture of his hidden longing. He had never told anyone about this secret flicker. Not his father, not his grandfather, not the few sailors he occasionally spoke to. It was his private moment, a tiny rebellion against his lonely existence, a whispered hope sent out into the universe. He didn't know what he was hoping for, a connection, a sign, something to break the endless routine. He just did it, every night, a silent ritual of the heart. One stormy night, the wind howled like a wild beast. Rain lashed against the thick glass of the lantern room. The waves crashed against the cliff with tremendous force, sending spray high into the air. It was a dangerous night for any ship at sea. Elias climbed the stairs, his heart heavy with the weight of responsibility. He had to ensure the light stayed strong, unwavering. The lives of sailors depended on him. He felt the isolation more acutely on nights like this, the raw power of nature emphasizing his smallness and solitude. He remembered lessons from Podcast English about perseverance and maintaining calm under pressure, and he applied them to his work. He cleaned the lens, checked the lamp, and then, as always, lit the powerful beam. The light cut through the storm, a steady promise of safety. And then, despite the wild weather, he performed his secret ritual. He flickered the light off and on, just for a moment, a tiny, personal sign in the chaos. He didn't expect anything. The storm was too strong. The sea was too wild. He just did it out of habit, a deep-seated need to connect, even when connection seemed impossible. As Elias watched his light pierce the dark, stormy night, something truly astonishing happened. Far out on the horizon, through the driving rain and swirling mist, he saw it. A return signal. A small, faint flicker of light, just like his own, appeared and then disappeared. It was brief, almost imperceptible, but it was there. A tiny, responding pulse in the vast, churning darkness. Elias froze. He rubbed his eyes, thinking the storm or his fatigue was playing tricks on him. He waited, and then, a few minutes later, it appeared again, that same small, quiet flicker. It was unmistakable. Someone was answering his secret signal. A wave of emotion washed over Elias, surprise, disbelief, and then a profound sense of wonder. For years, he had sent his silent message into the void, never imagining a reply. And now, in the heart of a raging storm, a connection had been made. It felt like a miracle. He felt a warmth spread through his chest, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a very long time. He felt seen, acknowledged, connected. He felt a quiet excitement that was almost too big for his solitary world. The next morning, the storm had passed. The sky was clear and the sea was calm, as if nothing had happened. Elias spent the day in a state of quiet anticipation. He cleaned the lamp, but his mind was not entirely on his work. He kept looking out at the horizon, wondering about the source of the signal. Was it a ship, another lighthouse, or something else entirely? He felt a new energy, a new purpose in his daily tasks. The world, which had often felt empty, now felt full of possibility. That evening, as twilight painted the sky with hues of orange and purple, Elias climbed to the top of the lighthouse. His heart was beating a little faster than usual. He lit the main lamp, and its steady beam swept across the calm waters. Then, with a hopeful breath, he performed his secret flicker. He waited. The moment stretched into an eternity. He wondered if it had been a dream, a figment of his imagination. And then there it was again, a faint, hesitant flicker from the far distance, just like the night before. Elias felt a huge smile spread across his face. It was real. He immediately sent his signal again, a little longer this time, a silent conversation beginning across the sea. The other light responded. They continued this silent exchange for several minutes, a dance of light across the dark waters, a connection forged in the vastness. It was a beautiful, wordless conversation, a bridge built between two solitary points.
Warm, compassionate, and hopeful. The pace is moderate and clear, suitable for B1 learners with natural intonation that conveys emotion and reinforces the inspiring message. The tone is encouraging and uplifting, like a narrator sharing a meaningful tale of human connection. Emphasize key themes and vocabulary naturally. Moderate speed, approximate 140 to 150 words per minute. This silent communication became a nightly ritual. Every evening, after ensuring the main light was steady, Elias would send his secret signal, and the other light would respond. It was never a long conversation, just a few flickers back and forth, but it brought immense joy to Elias. It broke the monotony of his solitary life. He wondered about the other person, imagining who they might be. Was it another lighthouse keeper? A fisherman on a solitary boat? He felt a sense of camaraderie, a shared understanding with this unknown individual. He started to look forward to the evenings even more. The days seemed to pass more quickly. He began to feel less alone. The lighthouse, which was once a symbol of his isolation, now felt like a conduit for connection, a way to reach out and touch another soul. He even found himself humming tunes as he worked, a quiet happiness bubbling up inside him. This small, secret connection brought a new melody to his otherwise silent life. One day, during his monthly trip to the small fishing village for supplies, Elias decided to do something different. He went to the old post office, a tiny building with a creaky wooden door. He hadn't sent a letter in years. He bought a stamp and a piece of paper. He sat down and carefully wrote a simple letter. He didn't know the name of the person sending the signal or even their exact location, but he wrote, "To the keeper of the responding light, thank you for your signal. It means more than you know. From the lighthouse keeper." He sealed the envelope, wrote "To the Horizon" on it, and placed it in the mailbox. He wasn't sure it would ever reach its destination, but he felt a sense of hope, a new kind of connection, sending a message in a bottle across the sea. He remembered a story from Podcast English about taking risks and stepping out of your comfort zone, and this felt like a big step for him. Weeks passed. Elias continued his nightly light conversation,
and the other light continued to respond. The signals seemed to become a little more complex, a little more meaningful, as if they were learning a new silent language. He still had no idea if his letter had reached its destination. He tried not to think about it too much, not to get his hopes too high. He simply enjoyed the nightly connection, the warm feeling it brought to his heart. Then, one sunny afternoon, as Elias was polishing the lighthouse lens, he saw a small fishing boat approaching the cliff. It was not one of the usual local boats. This boat was smaller, and it had a single figure standing at its bow, looking towards the lighthouse. Elias watched, curious. The boat slowly approached the base of the cliff, near a small hidden cove where he sometimes docked his own small boat. The figure on the boat waved. Elias waved back, surprised. The boat came closer, and a young woman stepped out onto the small rocky shore. She was holding something in her hand. As she walked towards the path leading up to the lighthouse, Elias saw it was a letter. His letter. He quickly descended the winding stairs, his heart pounding with anticipation. As he reached the bottom, the young woman was already waiting. She had bright, kind eyes and a warm smile. "Are you the lighthouse keeper?" she asked, her voice soft but clear. "Yes," Elias replied, a little surprised. "And you are—" She said, "My name is Sarah, and I'm the keeper of the Old Point Lighthouse, about 50 miles down the coast." She held up his letter. "This arrived at my post office. I recognize the description of the signal. It's my signal, too." She smiled, a genuine, radiant smile. "I've been sending that signal for years, ever since my father taught me how to keep the light. I never thought anyone would answer." Elias felt a profound sense of relief and joy. He wasn't alone. There was another person far down the coast who understood his silent language, who shared his solitary life. "It was you," he murmured, a smile finally breaking across his face, a smile that had been hidden for too long. They stood there for a long moment, two lighthouse keepers connected by the sea, by their duties, and by a secret signal that had become a bridge between their solitary worlds. They began to talk, sharing stories about their lives, their lighthouses, and their shared experiences. Sarah told him how her father had taught her the secret flicker as a way to send a personal message to the vast ocean, never expecting a reply. She spoke of the challenges and joys of her life at the lighthouse, and Elias listened, captivated. He realized how much he had longed for this kind of connection, this shared understanding. It was a friendship born from solitude, a bond forged across the waves. This unexpected meeting changed everything for Elias. He still lived in his lighthouse, still performed his duties with dedication, but now his days were filled with a new lightness. He knew he was not alone. He and Sarah continued their nightly light conversations, now knowing who was on the other side. Sometimes they would exchange letters, sharing more stories, asking for advice, building a deeper friendship. Their lighthouses stood as symbols of guidance, but also of connection, proving that even in the most solitary lives, hope and friendship can find a way to shine. This story, The Lighthouse Keeper's Secret, offers several powerful lessons that are perfect for your B1 English journey with Podcast English. First, the importance of connection, even in solitude. Elias lived a solitary life, but his secret signal expressed a deep human need for connection.
Learning English can sometimes feel like a lonely journey. But remember that Podcast English is here to connect you to a global community of learners. Reach out, practice, and find your own signals of connection. Second, persistence and hope can lead to unexpected discoveries. Elias sent his signal for years without a reply. His persistence, even in quiet hope, led to a wonderful connection. In English, you might feel like your progress is slow, but consistent practice, like daily listening to Podcast English, will eventually lead to breakthroughs and unexpected improvements. Don't give up hope. Third, responsibility and passion go hand in hand. Elias was dedicated to his duty, but his personal ritual added a layer of passion to his solitary life. When learning English, responsibility means showing up and practicing, but finding your passion in it, maybe through stories, music, or films you love, will make the journey more fulfilling. Fourth, communication comes in many forms. Elias and Sarah communicated through light. In English, remember that communication is not just about perfect grammar. It's about expressing yourself, understanding others, and making connections, even through simple words or gestures. Keep practicing all forms of English communication. Finally, every life has a story, and every story has value. Elias's seemingly quiet life held a rich, untold story. Your journey of learning English, with all its challenges and triumphs, is also a valuable story. Share it, celebrate it, and remember that Podcast English is here to help you articulate your own story to the world. Thank you for listening to The Lighthouse Keeper's Secret on Podcast English. I hope this story inspired you to look for connections in your own life and to value the quiet moments of hope that can lead to unexpected joy. If you enjoyed this captivating story and want to hear more B1 English stories that offer both language practice and profound life lessons, please give us a thumbs up. Your likes help us know what content you enjoy most and help other English learners find our channel. And please subscribe to Podcast English for more engaging narratives, expanded vocabulary, and advanced tips for your English journey. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next story, our next lesson, our next opportunity to learn and grow together. We are so happy to have you here, shining your light with us, learning with us, and connecting with the world. See you next time, and keep your signal strong.